it's Kim. Today I'm bringing you a video for Embellish It, scrapbooking store in Timaru, New Zealand, and I'm using the uniquely creative high tea collection. So I've got a few of the papers here. I have already fussy cut out one of the flower patterns from the side of that pattern paper, and I'm just cutting a piece of that pattern paper and I'm going to die cut out the clock. So the clock is the die that comes with the high tea collection. So all of the papers and embellishments for this collection are available from Embellish It, which operates as a bricks and mortar and online store in New Zealand, Timaru, New Zealand. So I'm just using my Cuttlebug with that die. It's a great die, cut completely cleanly, first time through the Cuttlebug. And I'm just going to use that as one of the embellishments on this layout. So I did pick some embellishments that I was going to use on this layout, and I have a bit of an idea about what I want to do. I am using some photos of my niece having a hot chocolate, which was pretty appropriate with this range as it has teacups and what have you in it, being the high tea collection. And so because she's drinking hot chocolate out of a teacup shape cup, it worked quite well. So the background paper that I'm using is this grey sort of watercolory type mottled paper, and I'm retaining the selvage strip on the bottom, which is a rose pattern. The photos I'm using, I am going to use three 3x4 inch photos. I have 4 to choose from, but I'm just going to use 3 of these. So I'm trimming one of the photos off, which I shall discard, and I'm going to use 3 of those. Now I'm going to use one of the other pattern papers in this range, which has a script paper on it. It is actually the reverse side of the paper that I trimmed that I fussy cut the flowers out of. So I'm just going to tear along the bottom edge, but I didn't like the tear that I did initially, so I tore back the other way, and I preferred that tear. So you see, I had a look at that, decided I didn't like it, tore back the other way, was happier with that. But what I did do was roll up that torn edge to create a bit of texture along that torn edge. And then I'm just going to use wet glue to stick the photos down on that paper, and then I shall trim around the photos just to create a mat around the photos, and then they'll have that curled up torn edge that will sit at the bottom of the photos, and that will form the base for my photos. And then I shall embellish all around that with some items that I have selected. As I said, I'd already had a look and decided what might be useful for this layout. I use, I've got to remember what glue it is. No, can't remember off the top of my head. It's the same one that I use in all my videos. Oh, yes, it's the Art Glitter Glue. And it dries completely clear. I really like it. I used to always use double-sided tape, but I much prefer the wet glue now. So I'm going to use that strip of photos, and I'm going to tuck that clock die up in that top left-hand corner, and I'm going to put those fussy cut flowers that I cut along the bottom edge. Now, so there's a pack of die cut or ephemera, whatever you want to call it, that comes with this range, and one of the items in there is a word mine, which I thought was really appropriate with a young girl with hot chocolate, and it has like letters that pop out of it. So what I'm going to do is actually stick down the outline, and then I'm going to pop up the floral inside letters later in this process. And that will form the title for this layout. And then these flowers that I'm playing with at the moment are vellum. So I will have some vellum flowers around this as well. They're really, really pretty. So there'll be one on that side of the mine. I'm going to use that little circle piece for some journaling. I have got some ticket shapes there, which I'm using. I have got some more flower pieces. So that one's actually a cardstock piece, so from the ephemera pack, and some more vellum pieces from the vellum die cut pack. And I'm just laying all these various pieces out to flow around the photos and seeing what looks pleasing to the eye, making sure that it's all balanced. And I think that that's all working reasonably well. And now that I've got those pieces laid out how I like them, I am going to get another piece of patterned paper as well, and I will cut some elements out of that. So this is the pattern paper that has all of the sort of embellishment elements that are printed on it. It's a really great pattern paper to pick up if you are getting this collection, because it has so many different pieces on it that you can use for either cards or layouts, heaps of different words. You can just cut out what you need to use. So I'm just going around deciding what words are appropriate for my layout and just cutting out what I need to use. And so I'm just picking out a few different shapes of items, picking out the ones that are the right colour, the right words that I want to use. There's a little heart too that I am going to select. They're quite easy to get to. They line up really well. And all of the collections from Uniquely Creative have this sheet of elements that you can cut apart to use. And so I think they're really great. I tend to use them on all my layouts where I use a Uniquely Creative collection. So I think that might be nearly all of the... Oh, no, I have at least one more piece I can think of off the top of my head. I think I'm going to tuck a piece that I'm going to cut out underneath the title. So I think I'm just trying to decide what word that I want to add under the title to enhance the title. And so I'm looking for that, and I've decided on that. So I'll cut that out, and that's going to tuck underneath the title. And now I am happy with how everything is laid out. I am now going to start adhering everything down with I found a few more little vellum flowers that I'm going to put down. I do actually end up changing those flowers around as I start gluing things down because I wasn't 100% happy with that right bottom corner of the photos at this time. And so I do fiddle with that a little bit more as things go on. But I am pretty happy with how things are at the moment. So now I'm going to start gluing everything down. And so I'm not going to take it all off the layout. I'm just going to basically pick it up piece by piece and start working around. I've put a little bit of, so I've glued the top edge, and then I've put a little bit of foam at the bottom edge of that fussy cut flower strip so that underneath the photo it sits flat with the background piece of paper, and then as it comes away from the photo it sits up. It's because I don't want too much bulk on this layout in my album, but I do want to have some dimensions. So some pieces will sit up, but most of the pieces are sitting flush with the background paper, making sure I get things straight that need to be straight. As I said, I'm sticking this title down directly onto the background paper, and then I will use some strips of foam tape, and I will pop up the inside of the title, which is like a floral pattern. So I'm just putting some strips of white foam tape onto that now. And that just sticks straight down into the middle of that die cut. And that's a really effective title, actually. They were really nice die cut pieces that came in that ephemera pack. And it was very simple. They're a nice chunky style font, so it was very simple to be able to put the foam tape on them and stick them down. and just the E. It makes the title nice and clear, and it's a little bit different to the usual title style. There we go. So I'm just using some foam tape. So I use Kitty's Craft foam, and it's adhesive on one side. It makes for a lightweight lift in your layout. It's an easy way to give lift to items on your layout while still remaining lightweight and not creating too much weight on those items. It's also possible to layer up various pieces of that foam if you do need to get that extra lift. So just working my way around, sticking each element down, because you don't want to move things around too much before you stick them down, because otherwise you can never remember where they go. So now just putting these tickets down. Again, one of them has some foam on it, and the other one doesn't. The square down, and then I'm going to stick the little heart down on that square with some foam. Getting very close to the end now. So thank you very much for joining me today. If you haven't already, I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel. And if you enjoyed this video, please press like. It means that YouTube's more likely to show my videos to more people. I do really appreciate you joining me. If you haven't shopped at Embellish It before, please come along and check it out. It's my local shop, as well as being part of the design team. So I've added some journaling to that journaling dot there, and I'm going to finish the layout with some splashes of gold ink. I have just covered the photos because if you don't, guaranteed that I'll end up with splotches of ink on my niece's face. And I will finish this video with some close-up shots of the layout so you can see it up close. If you are interested, this layout will be in the store. So if you are a local to Embellish It, you can actually see the layout in real life in the shop. I will be dropping that into the shop for Joe, so you can check it out in the shop. But please stick around, check out the close-ups of the layout, and I apologise that it has been a while since I've had a layout, since I've had a video up. It was a bit busy over Christmas, but I will have another video up again shortly for 49er Market, and I look forward to seeing you on YouTube again soon. Thank you. Bye.